to sharing this topic with you in today's video. So are you looking to discover the key differences between living in flood-prone Houston neighborhoods versus possibly relocating to the suburbs of Katy, Texas? Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about some of those differences, especially I know you've seen, like I mentioned before, on the news and everything going on with the hurricane, and you may just want to know what is going on. I mean, I get calls, texts from family, from friends that live out of state, and they're watching the news and they're like, oh my goodness, are you guys okay? What is happening there? And, you know, we relocated to the area about 4 years ago, and actually this was our very first hurricane experience. So I'll be able to give you a little bit of firsthand information and firsthand experience as well. So let's look at the differences between living in flood-prone Houston neighborhoods versus Katy neighborhoods. Like I said, a lot of people are possibly fearful of relocating due to the hurricane that we just had. But I would love to help you make an informed decision. So we're going to look at some of the safety measures that Houston neighborhoods have in place, so that you can have more of a comparison and a comprehensive look at each that each location has to offer, so that's best suited for you and your family. Neighborhoods actually have unique living features that adapt to the flooding. And so we're going to discover some of the challenges and how Houstonians actually overcome this challenge. In this video, we're going to be looking at unique living features of flood-prone Houston versus Katy neighborhoods, which is a suburb just 30 minutes outside of Houston, Texas, that also has, you know, its unique challenges as well that we faced during the hurricane. So during hurricane season, or, you know, anytime there's like heavy downpours, Houston is prone to frequent flooding just due to the geographical location of Houston, to the proximity to the Gulf of Mexico, as well as Houston has a lower elevation. And so that makes Houston more flood prone. And then as a result of this, we've been seeing Houston having to adapt to the flooding as well as mitigate the impact of the flooding. So versus Katy's neighborhoods, where it's a total different living experience. You're 30 miles west of Houston. You're going to have, you know, a totally different living experience and totally different distinct features of Katy versus Houston. So Katy is going to give you more of that suburban feel compared to Houston, which is going to give you more of that urban feel. So one of the major challenges that Houston has, and actually has led Houston to development of more neighborhoods that can, you know, survive and live with the threat of flooding, versus Katy, which is, you know, more of a laid back atmosphere and doesn't, you know, we're not so concerned about the threat, but we are concerned about the threat. But I'll tell you a little bit more of why Katy and its residents, which is where I reside, versus Houston and its residents, and kind of the differences and the challenges. So these challenges that Houston has faced over the years, you know, especially after Harvey, has caused Houston to create some innovative solutions to, you know, set both of these neighborhoods apart. So Houston's main concern is going to be flood protection. So Houston is going to be about, you know, how do we protect the residents and the homes and everything against flooding, as where Katy's main focus is going to be that too, but mostly going to be focused on providing more of a peaceful living environment. And so we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into some of these unique features that both neighborhoods have to offer. So Houston neighborhoods, some of the differences you're going to notice in the homes that if you're thinking about relocating to Houston, the homes have been elevated. Elevated homes are going to protect the homes from flooding. Something that was unique to me, especially moving to Houston from Ohio, or moving, living in Katy, just outside of Houston from Ohio, was the elevated freeways. So I like to say that the freeways here remind me of the Jetsons, like you're like in the sky and you're driving in the air. But that is a unique feature that is also protects its residents against flooding. Another thing that you'll see unique to Houston and its neighborhoods is going to be the flood resistant building materials. And you actually will see that in Katy as well. A lot of the material is built so that it can withstand high winds, because you have a lot of high winds. So you'll see a lot of homes that are fully brick. I know in Ohio, we were used to having like vinyl siding. The siding here most likely is going to be concrete siding. And I had never seen that before either, but that is again to protect the homes against the severe weather and the possible flooding, hurricane winds, and things like that. Also in Houston, you're going to know that something also to protect its residents is going to be the drainage system. So the drainage systems are going to be there to redirect the water, as well as the bayou system. So all of these things have been widened, they've been improved, the bridges have been improved, especially since Hurricane Harvey. I know the news just kind of focuses in on like one little area where there's like tons of water. But despite that, there has been a lot of work done since Hurricane Harvey. I mean, some of the bayous have been widened so that they can hold over 3.5 billion gallons of storm water, which is a lot to even try to think about that. So that helped reduce flooding for over 15,000 different structures. And that was just widening the Brays Bayou project. And another thing that can mitigate risk is by working with a realtor who is knowledgeable in the area. Your agent is going to be able to pull the FEMA flood maps, which is located within the Houston, the Houston Association of Realtors. The realtor will be able to pull those flood maps so that you can see, is that home located within a 100-year floodplain, meaning that it is flooded within the last 100 years, or even a 500-year floodplain, or if it is outside of a floodplain. That way, again, mitigating the risk of the area that you are potentially looking to purchase your home or even rent a home in. Something also, the difference between Katy and Houston is Katy, or Houston, you're going to have a lot more mature trees, and you're going to even see that further in northern Houston. You're going to see more trees that, like on the news, there was a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a few people, prayers to their families and things that lost their life because a tree fell on their home. So closer to Houston, you're going to have more mature trees. So the risk of a tree falling on your home or car or things like that is going to be more probable in a storm versus in Katy. The trees are brand new. The community is barely a little over 20 years old. And so the trees are not as mature, especially closer to West Katy versus going closer to Cinco Ranch, getting, further into Katy. So we did see a lot of bushes blown up and, some small trees that just hadn't taken root. But the damage that those trees can cause versus a large mature tree is going to be a lot different. So if that is a key factor, you may want to keep that in mind if you're looking at a home. Is there a big, huge mature tree, or is there just a little tree that if a storm comes, it could blow the little tree over and, you can get it replaced? Like we seen our neighbor's tree was uprooted and they've already had it cut down, but it did no damage to anything but to the tree. So also something else that's unique with the Houston neighborhoods is going to be Houston is very resilient as a community, and you see that in Katy as well. And you also, and this is in both Houston and Katy, during a big storm, you may have some issues with cell towers, and a lot of people lost power. Us being in Katy, thankfully, we did not lose power, but I know a lot of people who did. And prayers to those folks who are still possibly without power. There are sheltering centers, there are cooling centers throughout Houston. Now let's look at, I know I talked a little bit about some of the Katy neighborhoods and some of the unique features in Katy as well as Houston, but let's just now focus on Katy. So some of the differences if you're looking to relocate and again, you're wanting something a little less risky, or, you know, just want to compare the differences, Katy is going to give you more of a large, spacious lot. So if you're looking for a lot that, you know, maybe a half an acre, a quarter of an acre, or acreage, Katy, Fulshire, the suburbs is going to give you more of those options. Also, all of the homes just about practically in the Katy area have fencing. So your home is going to have a fence that also helps protects against storm damage. But if it's an older fence, then one thing that you can, if it's an older fence, then you also risk that fence being damaged during the storm. So we saw a lot of people where their fences were blown over, where the fence needed repair, but nothing major like we seen in Houston. You didn't see like a lot of roads that were flooded out because the drainage systems here in Katy contain, you know, the majority of the water. Also, some of the differences from Katy to Houston, you're going to have a lot of more upscale amenities. Just about every single community is going to be a master plan community, meaning it's going to be a family-friendly environment. You're going to have parks, you're going to have playgrounds, you're going to have kid-friendly amenities, pools, walking trails, everything like that. So again, Katy neighborhoods is going to be focused more on, you know, that resort style living, kind of like that luxury living. There's going to be social events that is happening, community block parties at the community centers, and it just gives you that escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. And so that is one of the things that I really love about Katy. It just, I always say that it has this vibe, you know, you feel when you come home that you're just away from all of the noise and you can just get out and enjoy nature, enjoy your family and everything like that. But Houston and Katy both have really adapted their surroundings to offer, you know, unique living experience for both residents. So based on those differences, you know, Houstonians have become resilient and resourceful. Houstonian residents have become resilient and resourceful when it comes to facing adversity, as where Katy residents have more of a relaxed, kind of laid back atmosphere. Like even since we've had the storm, you've seen, you know, residents getting out, people helping each other, cleaning up the debris. Most people in the neighborhood had like some tree damage. Everything was basically cleaned up within a couple days. As we're Houston, it's probably going to take a little bit more time for the waters to recede. But again, as a whole, all of the residents have become very resilient, and each neighborhood offers its own distinct, unique living experience, you know, based on the challenges and opportunities presented in each environment. Another unique thing with Houston that I really love is the importance of community and coming together. And that is, to me, that is Texas as a whole. You just have this sense of community and everyone being caring, you know, just that Southern hospitality, which really does create a, you know, unique, one-of-a-kind living experience. And so as we're Houston neighborhoods, you know, you have that resilience in the face of challenge. As we're Katy neighborhoods, it's going to just give you a total different feeling, but equally appealing living experience. And both of these neighborhoods stand out in their own unique way. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you have any questions or you just want to know like you know, maybe I'll put a couple of clips in here showing what the storm was like for us, which it really was not that bad. And I'm very grateful because, well, this is I've seen a lot of people, even in our neighborhood, have roof damage, tree damage, and things like that. We didn't have any flooding. We had a couple fence posts that need repaired, and we lost one bush. So super grateful, very, very grateful to that. But if you found this video interesting, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Check out some of our other videos about neighborhood tours, about getting actually into the community, and share your comments and thoughts below. If you live in the Houston area, you know, what are some of the unique challenges that you face that I may have left out below for people that are looking to relocate to the area? But we still love living in Texas. People ask me all the time, do you love it? Do you still love it there? We love it here. We still love the weather, even though we had the, you know, hurricane hit and whatnot. But we believe in a higher power, and we believe that you are all divinely protected. So if you found this video helpful, again, give me a thumbs up and stay tuned for more videos like this one. Stay blessed, and remember, all is well. Okay guys, so we are going to our first Houston Rockets game.